Hey, what's up, Maybach here. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 4 ways you can get cinematic thumbnails. Now in this video, I'm not gonna go over how to edit and color grade your photos. I'm gonna show you how you can apply text and make it look cinematic. Okay, so the first thing you gotta do is to jump over to Photoshop. As you can see, I already have a template that says YouTube thumbnail. I highly recommend creating your own Photoshop thumbnail and saving it as a template to your Photoshop account. In that way, every time you open up Photoshop, you just know the settings and you can just click on it, and then it just will save you a lot of time. So I already have it created. It's 1920 times 1080. So the reason why I always have a set YouTube thumbnail template for Photoshop is because, as you can see, the photo that I've edited does not have the same aspect ratio as the thumbnail. So what I gotta do is drag it all the way out so it fills the entire screen. In order to have your proportions the same, you just hold in Shift on Mac. I'm not sure what it is on the Windows, but you just hold it in and you don't let go until it fills up the entire square. And then obviously you can choose yourself how you want this position. In my opinion, there are 4 ways you can create a really cinematic thumbnail. These are different styles, and the first style is spacing out your text. So after you've positioned and sized your photo properly to the thumbnail, you just add the text, the T symbol, and then for this, I'm just gonna call it thumbnail. I normally, majority of the time, center the text. Probably 80% of the time I center the text. So the way you space out your text is you go under character and you go where it says VA, and the arrows are going opposite directions. The highest that you can see here is 200, but I personally tend to space it out all the way up to the thousands. 1260, I think that looks like a nice spacing. So in general, when you space out your text, you need to have this text size relatively small. You need this because obviously you're spacing it out and it takes up more space. So I tend to have it pretty small. It's 64 right now. Let's do 60, or let's do actually 48. That looks pretty neat. Okay, so the second way you can do this is by placing your text behind the object or the subject. And you need to know just some very basic Photoshop techniques to do this, but it's very simple and I'm gonna show you guys really quick right now. So I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna use the same font, making sure it's centered, and there are a couple of different ways you do this. I'm gonna show you just the fastest way in my opinion and the way I do it. The first thing you do is actually you hide the text, then you obviously click on the photo layer. Then I use the quick selection tool, and this is one of my favorite tools to use. Make sure it's on plus and you just mark the mountains. You can, no worries that it's not perfect, because you can change that in a second. It did select the beach, so I'm gonna deselect that, and what you can do is you just the same tool, and instead of the plus you use the one with the minus sign, and you just deselect it really quick. That looks good. Then I'm gonna click on the text layer and show it. Now you will still see that the text is in front of the mountain, in front of it, but what you do now is, so you have the text layer highlighted, you go on the eraser tool, you click on it and it would ask you to rasterize this type, and just click OK. Now you can change, this is also where you change the sizing of it, and you just erase everything that's inside here. So I'm gonna erase this. You see here, this is what I mentioned before. I unfortunately didn't do enough of it, so I'm just gonna do it right like this. I go back to the erasing tool, not this one, erasing tool. I erase the rest of it, and then in order to kind of remove the selection, you just do Command D on a Mac. So the third way you can create cinematic thumbnails, in my opinion, is to divide the thumbnail into 2 or 3 parts. You go on new guide layout. I already have it selected, but instead of having the rows, I want the columns to be what I wanted to divide it in. You normally I would put 0 as the gutter. You don't want any space between them, and then you click OK. Obviously, if you just want 2, or even if you want 4 photos, you just click the number here. I think 3 is a good number, so let's do that. Again, I'm gonna drag it out until it covers all of it. Let's say the photo in the middle is on top, and you want to cut out the sides of the photo. All you really do is you click on it, you choose the rectangular tool, and this is why these lines are so important, and then you click this tool right here, add layer mask. So the final and the fourth way you can make your thumbnail cinematic is by adding yellow text. My favorite way to truly add yellow text is by having a complementary color of teal or blue. So there are kind of 2 types of yellow. It's one that's more tinted toward orange, and then there's one that's more tinted toward the green area, like this. I personally prefer it more tinted toward the orange type of color. I think that's a really, really nice color, especially on blue like that. So I'm gonna go with that one, and that's pretty much it. That looks pretty neat and cinematic if you ask me. And then you just upload it on YouTube.